Yep.
Hello, my name is Damon Kuhn, and today I will be giving my presentation on Hitler's rise to power. Let me start off with this. Hitler, a young boy from Austria, started off as an aspiring artist who would become infamous as the leader of one of the world's largest genocides. Hitler's rise to power was directly related to many different worldly events and individual experiences on which Hitler would experience or witness. Why is this relevant to you, you may ask? Because everything Hitler did during World War II is still felt in our modern day society. As a child and growing up, I was always interested in history and fascinated by World War II. As I got older, I became more interested in how it began and how it started, and I started doing research into Hitler's life. I've read books, listened to audio files, and even listened to some of his actual speeches. Let me begin with telling you about the early childhood and how it played a role in his development. Born in Austria, April 20th, 1889, his father was 52 years of age when Hitler was born, and his mother was only 24 years old. They're actually related, which would cause Hitler quite grief as he got older. Life was relatively comfortable for Hitler until about the age of 6. At the age of 6, Hitler's father actually retired from his job and was at home more often. Until Hitler's father had retired, he wasn't in his life as much, and Hitler was often spoiled by his mother. The reason why he was spoiled was because up until Hitler, all of his mother's previous children had died during childbirth. Once his father was around more often, his father was more of a strict, abusive type father. So Hitler's life quickly changes from a more carefree child's type life to a more watched over type lifestyle. After his father retired, the family found themselves moving around quite often. One of the first places that they went was a town where there's a monastery nearby in which Hitler had enrolled. He was actually quite good in his studies, and it was there that he met a priest of which he actually idolized. What he idolized most about this priest was the fact that the priest ruled over his monks with an iron fist. And it was here where we're starting to make the connection of how Hitler developed his dictator type style. It was also this monastery where Hitler first discovered the symbol of the swastika, which was later used as the Nazi symbol. As a child, Hitler also read many Karl May books. There's a German author who supported white supremacy. This also led to his ideology of whites and German bloodline being better than all other bloodlines. Now that I've discussed how Hitler's childhood, I will discuss the effects of World War I on Hitler and how it further shaped the dictator. World War I started off when Archduke Ferdinand was assassinated. Hitler was filled with patriotism at this time, and he soon enlisted in the Bavarian army. Hitler served 4 years in the trenches and came close to death several times. He was awarded 2 Iron Crosses for bravery and promoted to Lance Corporal. According to the article Adolf Hitler and World War I, Hitler's years in the military helped develop his sense of nationalism and anti-Semitism. After the war ended, Germany as a nation was embarrassed by the Treaty of Versailles. According to the article, Hitler comes to power. The Treaty of Versailles states that Germany is responsible for making payments due to war damages, and it also limits the size of their military. Germany, as a nation, found this very degrading and embarrassing. Hitler would later play on this as he comes to power. The stock market crashed in New York, which also affected the global economy. 6 million Germans found themselves unemployed by June 1932. Now that I've discussed the effects of World War I on Hitler, I will now discuss the effects on the National Socialist Government Workers' Party had on Hitler. Hitler was sent by the German army as a spy to spy on this party. It was there, while spying on that party, that he realized that a lot of his ideologies tied in with what the party's beliefs were. He started giving speeches at the meetings and was noticed due to his great public speaking abilities by the leader of the Nationalist Party. He was asked to join, and so Hitler did. And at that time, Hitler started to give more speeches and gained popularity within the party. He was promoted to propaganda manager, and from there, he eventually took over the party as his popularity grew. It was at this point that Hitler had a political platform to stand on to voice his opinions and his views. From here, he promised the people of Germany to end their suffering, to end their poverty, and to restore their glory. He denied the Treaty of Versailles and completely disregarded it. And from here, this is where he becomes the Führer, or dictator of Germany. Now that I've covered Hitler's rise to power, I'll recap with what we've discussed. Hitler's rise to power was directly related to many different worldly events that had come to pass and individual experiences on which Hitler had witnessed. In conclusion, I'd like to state that Hitler started off as a regular boy, but as life progressed, he changed for the worst. Hitler has affected the world as we know it today and will continue to live on in infamy.